Oh, there it is.
Hey Travis, everybody can hear me?
Yep.
All right, sounds good. Down here in Biloxi. All right. Let's and I'm working off my phone because I forgot my tablet, so I apologize. Packet web. All right, let me call the meeting to order. It's 10 o'clock for the Village of Wind Point PFIC meeting on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. Let's take a roll. Carmen Gasparo,
Here.
Allison McCullough,
Here.
and Rob Lopnell is here. All right, citizen comment. At any this time, individuals can speak on any topic on the agenda for up to 3 minutes. Time extensions are at the discretion of the committee. Chair, no action can be taken on items not listed, except as possible. Referrals to committees, staff, or future PFIC agenda. Since Travis has 3 meetings, I'm not going to have any discretion today. It's going to be 3 minutes. So Travis, if you could take over since I'm working off my phone and let the residents who would like to share their thoughts with us share their thoughts.
Does anyone online want to start? I guess not. I'll go to the room then.
Okay. Right, I'm Nikki Fisher. You all probably know that. I live on Maribor Lane. And I'm here today about the agenda item related to the $250,000 for construction and architectural plans for the new municipal hall. I've been thinking about this, and it occurs to me that there's an analogy I'd like to share with you. It's a little bit like maybe the village is like some of us with back problems and maybe some issues with our stomach and some issues maybe with losing our hair and other things. And we have decided, or here's what it feels like to me and some other residents. We have decided that instead of going to the local doctor and deciding how to treat each of these issues, that we've decided that what we want to do is we want to go to a European spa that's world renowned for holistic medicine. And that's great, except that we're not paying for that holistic spa. Other people are paying both the transportation to get there and for the spa itself. It feels a little like, it feels a little like we haven't considered all the other options for versus the $1 million spa. And so I've sent you guys an email and I told you what, if I were in a business setting, what I would have been looking for. And maybe all that is there. I admit that I've come very late to this process with all of you. And maybe somewhere there's all this paperwork and documentation of the fact that you've considered all these other things. But it feels like today you're putting a deposit down on your stay at the spa with your $250,000. And as somebody who, along with all of these people and all the other 1,600 residents here, is paying for that spa, I'd like to feel a lot more comfortable that before you put a deposit on the European spa, that you have actually considered whether local doctors and various other treatment options are available to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Travis?
Go ahead. Hi, my name is Bill Schonk. I'm a resident here since 1989. I also served on this board for 8 years and served as president. And my board responsibilities were primarily in finance until I got into the presidency. And my perception of Racine County, do a macro thing, we have historically been so cheap. We have not taken care of the people in the county, nor have we taken care of being up to date on all we need to do. One of the good things about Wind Point, everybody here is smart. Nikki just said some riveting things and put it into a nice little story. And I would ask you, consider the options that are being brought forward. Now, I just got back from Norway. I was there for 3 weeks, and so I'm just playing catch up. Dave Dermet apparently has some ideas, and it's my understanding the plans are over at the office. And Dave was on board with me, and he's a heck of a smart guy. And I would listen to what he says, and I would tie it into what you have to do. You're the final arbiters of this project. So I would ask that you consider all the options. And even if you have to call a meeting of the entire community, it will serve us better if you do that. We pride ourselves in a low tax rate, and that's something nice to be proud of. But if you need to expand, you need to expand. But let's do it in a way that the people in this community feel comfortable with what you're doing. And I pick up from several people, they're not comfortable at this point. So I just ask you, consider all your options, and God bless you and good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the comment. Charlie?
Good morning. I'm gonna sit because my back's killing me. So anyway, Charlie Manning, 4001 Lighthouse Drive. Been a resident here for nigh on 40 years. That being said, I'm here to speak about the proposed municipal building. Most of that preparation has occurred before my arrival on the board. It's clear to me that we have to comply with certain features, right? We got to get ADA'd on our any new venture. This building doesn't make it. Our current offices, village office, doesn't make it. I think, and I'll give you the summary first. It's too much a building at an extraordinary cost per square foot. 8,000 square feet, is that a need or a want? I believe it's a want. And, you know, just taking our office proper, if we can assign, you know, a couple hundred square feet for in an open office space for a couple, our clerk and our two clerks, that's not right, clerk and receptionist. We could also spend another couple hundred square feet for an office. Now, where would this be? It's something I would consider that we could have an add-on to our current village office, just to the south of that proper. Avoid the demolition of what's probably not a bad space right now. We would really have to evaluate where we are needing 8,000 square feet at a building cost, which is extraordinary to me, at $500 a square foot. I don't know what that gives you, but there would have to be a lot of marble involved and fire protection. Let's look at our existing current condition of the police office, less than ideal, but not hopeless. It has served us for decades. Would outside bathrooms be suitable if they were prepared for winter use? And the two bathrooms I'm talking about right over here, they're ADA compliant, so that would get around that corner. We'd have to do the plumbing, right? The plumbing would have to handle, you know, 0, 10 below, that sort of thing. Could we use this room right here for an antecedent office for some of the officers? These are essentially transient workers, part-time people that have to maybe go in and use a computer. It's nice to sit down after shifts and record what's happened. Lastly, voting in the garage has served us for decades. The pressure of a large number of voters and access to the garage has limitations. However, the number of in-person voters has dramatically declined over the years.
That was 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, can I have 30 seconds?
I'm not in charge.
I have
That's fine.
Rob.
Charlie, that's
Okay,
fine. Go
here
ahead.
you go. Yeah, our largest election was last November. In-person voting was only 40% of the total vote, with only 500 ballots cast in the garage. This is about 45 voters per hour. I don't believe the constraints are necessarily parking or being shoulder to shoulder, but the constraints are registration affirmation of the voter's ID. There's 30,000 square feet of office space available in this village. I think we have to take a strong look at the available office space and lease instead of buy and build. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Okay, yes, Jane Derment, 4350 Lighthouse Drive. And yes, we're continuing to ask that the village, before any commitment is made or debt is issued for building the new municipal building, we'd like to ensure that lower cost options are considered, including renovating to code the space owned by the village, leasing at 3 Mile and Main from Johnson Redevelopment Company, or leasing from Caledonia. 3 Mile and Main has over 26,000 square feet available at $16 per square foot. They have two-story buildings that were the headquarters for Johnson Financial and Johnson Outdoors. So these are nice buildings. And we could lease there for over 40 years before we would come anywhere near close to what we're talking about spending on a new building. I know the committee was concerned that that lease would increase, that would, hit the operating cost line, that it would increase operating costs, and you didn't want to have to go out for a referendum to increase taxes for operating expense for lease. But we did some reading in the Wisconsin statutes, 67 on municipal borrowing, and it seems to indicate that with a general obligation note, that you can use a general obligation note can be used for any municipal purpose, including operational expense. So I'm sure you can check with Ehlers on that. There may be a way that you don't have to worry about that. A point about issuing debt. I know that the village wants to start the construction on 4 Mile in October to take advantage of lower winter rates. So assuming the bids come in where you expect them, you want that to happen in October, and that's what you told the bidders. That would mean that you'd have to pull forward into 2025 issuing of debt. The debt in the Ehlers plan, the first debt issuance is for $8.99 million in May of 2026. So you'd have to bring forward debt. And what we're asking is you do not bring forward that entire $8.99 million now into 2025. That $8.99 million is to cover the $5.4 million of 4 Mile Road and the $4.2 million of the village municipal building. So we're asking you not to issue debt for the village municipal building, in September, October, so you can start water main construction on 4 Mile Road. Somehow that needs to be decoupled. And, we expect as residents, and, we've been informed that we have a budgeting process at the village that includes a public hearing on November 13th. And bringing all that debt forward in advance of the public hearing doesn't meet the purposes and requirements of the public hearing. So that's the main point. That's the 3 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jane. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the emails as well. We read them. All right. Next, and I'm going to go in and out on video. I apologize, everybody, since I'm down here with my family in a timeshare. So anyway, our next thing is taking a look at the minutes. I looked at them before I left, and on my phone the other day, I didn't really see anything. Does anybody else see anything that were issues? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? Okay. All right, 3-0 on that. All right, next one. Just so everybody in the crowd knows, this again, like Jane said, this is a process. Travis and staff have been putting together numbers and they change over time. So he's updating things. This is not a final version. This is just a working version. So I talked to Travis a little bit earlier and told him, again, with me working remotely here on this, to sort of take it over from here and bring us up to speed. Thank you.
Nothing really new. Numbers are starting to come in for the general fund levy of your mill rate. You are is going to release the levy worksheets in September here shortly. And our total assessed value for the entire village should be complete here within the next month to get a better idea. I reached out to Appraise on the revaluation stuff to get that estimate. You can see in your packet the estimate is there highlighted in yellow, bringing the mill rate down to $2.82. That's an estimate. We have to go through open book still and board of review. So until then, we won't know until that kind of October range with those final numbers. You're starting to get your intergovernmental revenues in for the other state aids that we get. You'll see those starting to come in green. Not much changes to that. Pretty similar to previous years. Any questions on revenue side of things?
Well, I do, just on the first page, our budget proposed between 25 and 26 is a $500,000 difference. Is that money somewhere else? Or is that numbers we're waiting on the other financing sources? On page, oh, there's no page number. It's the very first page of the summary.
You're talking about the fund balance applied? Other financing resources?
It's on the very
This
first page,
summary.
right after on the packet, it's right after the minutes. It's not, there's no page number on it. It's just on the summary.
You're looking for this
Yeah,
and why these don't match? What are you? I don't.
between the 25 budget and the 26 proposed, there's $500,000 difference.
Oh, because I mean, it's not done yet.
That's what I'm saying. We're just waiting on numbers.
Yeah, so
Okay.
once they get more numbers from DOR and the other DOT agencies on stuff, we'll get better numbers. And as we work through the budget process, you'll see more. This is the first draft, so you won't see the final draft, and then those numbers will come in. And they're going to be different just because your fund balance is going to be different than last year.
But Travis, just so everybody in the crowd knows, outside of potential, and I emphasize potential because we're all working through this. We're taking all the feedback, the great feedback everybody's given us, including today. Thank you. We really don't have any huge expenses next year. We don't have the appraisal. We don't have vehicles that we bought in the last couple of years, unless I'm missing something. So, all
No.
right. All right.
Nothing has changed much on your expenses side other than a couple accounts got merged on the HR side of things. These numbers were now included into the wage allocations. So that's why you're going to see higher numbers going up on DPW and on the clerk side of things, just because those accounts don't exist in Workhorse anymore, so they're merged together now. And then this one we won't need anymore due to Workhorse as well. Handling that, we don't have an expense on payroll withholding, so those will be taken away.
Thank you for that.
The numbers in red still are some numbers that are contingent to estimates from R&R Insurance. We're waiting to get those final numbers. They've given us estimates on what those are going to be. Still waiting to get back from John's disposal as they've been busy with other communities cleaning up. But those numbers are coming together, but we're in a pretty good spot right now on the operating side. Nothing has changed on facilities, lighthouse, equipment, nothing on roads, other than the fact that the finance committee has looked to scale back the borrow to even years being bigger loads of borrow to odd years being kind of smaller. So the finance committee recommended we look at the pulverizing the two worst roads in the village that are smaller. Those numbers came in at $25,000 to design and 295 and 207 to do the actual work. Bringing that total 692,500 to do a smaller road. That does not include utilities. It's just a pulverize of the road. So we scaled back, pushing back all the big roads further back in the plan. Any questions on that?
So we talked about last month to sort of spread things out and not have so much disruption, and also work in some of the side roads, and so everybody could see that we were attacking on all fronts. Any
So you'll see
questions?
those smaller numbers here in the
Yeah.
odd years.
Yeah, and when everybody talks about let's do a study, just look at the 25,000 just for doing those roads, so that we do them right. Nothing comes cheap anymore. All right, Carmen or Allison, questions, concerns this month where we're at?
At this point now.
Allison,
No.
all right.
Just kind of looking
Travis,
at-
anything we missed at all?
No, just touching on the water side of things. So you'll see the
Okay.
new water totals here from Ellers that kind of goes over our rate case that's going through. So those numbers come out now to this kind of 647 figure. So
Where are we at with the PSC again and that?
just waiting on the public hearing to get done.
Okay,
They've approved everything
okay,
that that Ellers has recommended to get up to speed on our water utility.
okay. Well, that's good news, since nobody did anything for 12 years on that. That's good.
And then on the storm side, you'll see your new increase in the storm ERU rate contingent upon the adoption of the board doing the increase per the financial management plan. So that will be reviewed at the November meeting, but that would be the new stormwater total.
Thanks. So just again, I like to interject so people understand some of what goes on, when Travis and Scott are doing things. We've had very, very good, very personable staff throughout all the years, but we haven't had necessarily very capable staff that understood and followed through on dealing with these utilities. So just a heads up, this is a painful learning curve for all of us. All right, so thanks for that update. Go ahead.
Any changes or anything the finance committee sees before we move it on to the second draft, which will be in October, which will get better information from DOR, levy worksheets, and contingent on board of review stuff.
Sure.
But anything before then, because that will be kind of the final draft, and then or the first draft that the board will see in October after the work done here.
Okay, well, we
Well,
still
I'm-
have another, go ahead.
I do have a question when we go back to the capital plan here.
Yep.
Because,
Which one?
We've kind of gone back and forth on, we have the roof and the various and sundry things doing to the building, but we also have budgeted a building. And we talked about, why would we budget doing anything to repair a building that we're replacing? So, let me find it.
It's because we still have no direction on like a final approval from the board, so it's still a working document until then, until approval of any of these items, we'll
Okay.
take out.
So if you're going to go ahead and put in for a roof and anything else, then I think that to be truly reflective of the costs of bringing that building up to ADA, then you need to put that in there too. And that's not just a ramp. I mean, I sent you an email on this about,
We can
we're
get
talking
quotes.
hallways, we're talking bathroom, we're talking wider doorways, we're talking some type of electric unit to raise a wheelchair up and down because there's stairways within the building. And just the fact that if we had somebody apply for a position within the village who was in a wheelchair, you know,
Or if I broke my leg.
that, or you broke your leg, you know, that's a whole different accommodation there. So those are issues that people don't think about. So I think that should be reflected in the budget.
We can
What the
get
true cost
quotes.
would be.
We'll reach out to companies and get 3 or 2 quotes on how much this would cost to bring the building up to ADA and widen the doors, because the doors aren't ADA.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So-
And I would also say, Allison, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, I'd also say, Allison, to that point, which is very good point made. I don't think it would necessarily get done next year if we push the building back for, as we're finding out more and more information and waiting for that information to come in. I don't necessarily think it'll necessarily be in the 2026 budget. But thanks, Travis, for listening to Allison and going out and getting those quotes as well.
well, but the fact is, these are true costs that we are going to encounter if we don't put in a
I
different building.
So
It must be reflected. If we're gonna replace a roof and we've got to do all these other things, and to make it an ADA compliant building, these are things that actually are gonna have to be done. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're basically have to tear it down and start over.
I have offered to the finance committee to review the 2010 study that was done for the village of the facilities, including here and the office and the garage. So those, I've put a summary together. I have had it. I haven't put it out yet, just waiting for direction still of what is in that study. But I mean, if you want to read that, you can stop and pick it
Yeah,
up.
I'd love to see.
But that study had shown that the building weight of the office furniture can no longer handle the furniture, and that the boards and the beams are starting to deteriorate, and that the building is kind of sinking in the foundation. So those are in the study as well and provided. And there's no fire codes in the public works garage either. So they're out of compliance in the fire codes. So all that is in the study. I mean, nothing has changed. Nothing has been added to the new our house. So nothing's been done to update that. So
Well, it was a house, and it
Yeah.
was not built to accommodate. And what about the computer system that's being housed in the basement? I mean, there's so many things that,
Also, too, we've been critiqued by the state on in our voting, in the building and voting.
yeah, it's more painful to see residents vote in person as an increase in residents are voting in person. There's a lot of wheelchairs that don't fit through the door. So it's very hard for those people that want to vote in person. They can't fit through the door, or they can't open the door. So it's very hard to see that when we're offering accessibility to have your right to vote. And it's hard because people can't really come into the front door. They don't fit.
Also, too, you had brought up something in Hale's Corner that somebody had complained and they just said, fix it, right?
Correct.
right, and wasn't there a huge fine involved?
There would have been, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more than a link. It's more than, this is what I don't think that everybody understands. It's more than just putting a ramp in to accommodate.
The hallway's not big enough, so you'd have to tear down the hallways. So
And the doorways.
And the doorways.
Oh, and you'd have to redo the bathroom.
the whole
Because,
bathroom would have to be taken out.
you know, I mean,
Well, if we put this all in a summary and stuff like that and put it out so residents understand what's going on, what the alternatives are, and what it's gonna cost to retrofit versus going to a new building. So
So we have that study, and I had proposed to the finance committee to update it, but because nothing has changed in the building, the finance committee voted it down because it was gonna cost almost as much as $250,000 to update everything in that study. So that's a lot of money, so we haven't done anything to the building, so we said, nothing's changed since 2010. So they decided to keep that study, use that off the basis to keep continuing on and use that as our source of kind of stuff. But nothing else has changed, other than we have heavier office furniture in the building, so that's kind of the big point there, but I have that. I can send it to y'all once I finish kind of editing it to make it ready for kind of public view as well.
So Travis, you're looking at then the rental as well over at the Johnson building.
Yeah, I've asked a person there and they kind of laughed at that and said that's funny. So so they'll look into it, but they don't have any kind of appetite really right now to do something like that. So
Oh, really? So even though they've got the open space, they don't have an appetite to rent it?
not right now, yeah,
Oh, well, that's good to know.
but
All right.
so we'll see.
Is that again?
The rental space, they didn't have an appetite really to introduce that to the village yet. But they'll see what there is. They'll check, but the person I have contact info with said they'll check, but they don't really have an appetite right now.
The other thing about renting is that it's an expense. You don't build equity. In a building, you would build equity, no matter how we do it, whether we downsize and do something different. We still lose the equity. I mean, renting is expense goes out the door.
Right. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, you have no appetite to rent from Caledonia because you're just one step closer to Caledonia saying, now that you're renting from us, are you sure you don't want us to take you over?
Excuse me,
We can't ask questions because it's against Robert's Rules of Order.
sure, but we couldn't hear.
Sure, the question on the renting the space from the Johnson Bank portion over there by them. We've asked the contact who represents their government affairs person, and they didn't have really an interest in that at that time, but they'll double check to make sure. But we've asked them many times to use spaces from their different sections, and we don't really get anything back from them.
What's their opposition?
It's their building.
It's just their building.
It's their
They don't
building.
have interest.
It's their building.
I mean, we've asked them to do like lots of things to host, lots of voting stuff. We've asked them numerous times to do things and they just don't want to. So. Any other questions on the budget side of things?
Well, thanks for those takeaways on those referrals to look into the other options, Travis. So, and I appreciate the update on the,
I know Chief looked
Johnson.
into Tech Caledonia and he said that there's ethical things that wouldn't work out with that because of the merge of IT equipment under one building. It wouldn't work out. So he said he would check in, but that just would not serve a purpose for them, especially since we just told them no to contracting with them. So
Travis, where are we at with Hassinger and their timing as far as pricing out the building?
like, you mean like them coming to the board meeting or like what? I guess what do you?
Well, I mean, I guess so we're taking it to full board, right? I mean, we voted.
Contingent. I guess we'll move on to number 6, but
Yeah.
we have some meetings tomorrow. So I'd like to place a hold on doing
That's
anything
fine.
with this agreement until we further get some information from
Yeah,
the meeting tomorrow with staff on this stuff. So there's some contingents on some setbacks. So we'd like to kind of hold off right now. So
that's okay. All right. Well, that's doing your homework. So I appreciate that. Keep us updated.
otherwise, that is the kind of update on the budget and where we're at. I don't have
Okay.
any other stuff to really
All right.
report. We're in a good
All right.
spot on things and moving infrastructure forward. So happy with the road work. Thanks to Scott and his part of getting us into a plan to get out the the bid stuff and getting all that back work for ordinances changed and legal review. And it's a lot of work. So, and he set up for the village's future for the next 40 years to get roads done. So we never had one before. So it took a lot of work. So I appreciate his work and time in putting that all in, and R.A. Smith and our attorney. So we're in a good spot for that.
Yeah, I would interject that very well done. I know Jane and Charlie are a little more involved than the other 3 residents I see, and I can't all see who's online, but from the standpoint of things, this village did not have a lot of the proper ordinances in place to move forward and make sure we were protected from contractors and things like that. So very well done, Scott, and appreciate that, Travis, as well. All right, we're up to
Just for number 5 and 6, just it's a motion that just to postpone until
all right.
more
Yeah.
information.
All right, I'll make a motion that we postpone any updates on the budget other than normal updates until we have more information, especially on the capital side.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? All right, 300 on that. All right, what are we up to? Excel engineering?
Yeah, and that would be the same, postpone until we have more information.
Yeah, that's I'm fine with that. I don't have appetite for getting into a contract with them until we know a little bit more about our different fronts we're looking at. So I'll make a motion to postpone any action on the Excel engineering contract until it comes
Okay.
back to us. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? All right, 300 on that. I think that's it for the public portion of things. We've got I think a closed session because we've got personnel issues and those by law have to be done in a closed session when it regards staff. Thank you, everybody, for visiting us today and your comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome.